everyone? It is Christian here from the Calcio Bros, and that means that another weekend of Serie A has passed by, and that means we were treated to a lot of excellent results, great goals, of course, and some really shocking upsets in some sense. So we'll definitely talk about that as well, and just also a reminder that this is not the last game, but it is the game before international break, so we will be off Serie A for 2 weeks as it will return on Easter weekend, and we will be treated to 3 Italy games coming up. I will let you guys know the dates, times, and against who they will be playing. But again, it's 3 games for Italy. It is for the World Cup qualifiers for the World Cup 2022 next year in November, December. And yes, it is another late start for the World Cup as they are playing in Qatar. But anyways, we will get to that. And first of all, let's get right to what happened this Serie A weekend. Also, just to point out, one of the games was postponed because of an outbreak in the team, and that was the Inter-Sassuolo match. The outbreak happening from Inter. Also, the second time in recent weeks that a Sassuolo game was postponed because the other team had an outbreak. Inter had at least 4 cases. Handanovic, Skriniar, I forgot who else, to be honest. I know Marotta had the sporting director. Is he sporting director? But anyways, he had it as well, and the league decided to postpone. There was a bit of mixed reactions in a lot of other fan bases just because a lot of other teams that had positive cases as well. They would have had 3 or 4 cases, and they still had to play. So a lot of people were upset, and it's the only one, Genoa and Torino, they had like 7 to 10 people. Like at one point, Genoa basically had the whole team had COVID, so that really affected them. So of course that's reasonable for their games to be postponed. Torino again had 7 to 10, maybe they had quite a few as well, but 4, you still have a healthy team ahead. I actually know at one point this is down in Serie C, and this happened a few months ago. I don't know if it's because of COVID, injury, suspension, all that sort of stuff. But Palermo, a team we probably haven't heard in so long. Palermo had to play a game with 13 people in total, only 2 substitutes, and those 2 substitutes were goalkeepers, so they couldn't really bring them on. They actually ended up tying the match. Great result for them. But anyways, so that was what happened there. But if you guys felt the game should have been postponed, rightfully so, be sure to let me know. Or do you think the game should have still gone on ahead? I really want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So anyways, let's talk about the games that were played for round 28. So that means we have 10 more games coming up in Serie A, but that also means, that means too, with games being postponed, some teams do have to make up those extra games. But anyways, let's talk about what happened now. On Friday, March 19th, we had one game that was at 3:45, Genoa coming back to win after Graziano Pelle returns to the field on Serie A and scores on his return to Serie A, and with a Genoa managed to come back with a Scamacca brace to help earn them a crucial victory. Now moving on to Saturday, we had 2 games because the Inter-Sassuolo game was supposed to be played on the Saturday, March 20. So the first game at 10 o'clock, then we had Crotone-Bologna. Crotone were actually up 2-0 at halftime. They thought they took away the victory here, but Bologna in the second half managed to get the job done and complete the comeback, stealing the victory away for them. So that means more issues for Crotone and Serse Cosmi's men. And Simi, who's been playing. That's what happens when you play him. He scores. So I don't know what Stroppo was doing in the first place not playing him, because now he's actually scoring. But, I'm not the coach, so I can't actually say anything. At 1 p.m. we had Spezia Cagliari, where the Aquiloti got the crucial victory for themselves to help push away from that relegation zone. And Cagliari actually thought they had a late equalizer from Joao Pedro, but it was ruled offside. So unfortunately, they could not steal a point there, and they go down in defeat. But big point for Vincenzo Italiano's men. Now we'll move on to Sunday at 7:30. We had Verona hosting Atalanta, and Verona, who have been now on a poor run as of late, were handed their third straight defeat by Gasperini's men as they take the win 2-0 with both goals coming in the first half from Zapata and Malinowski. And Zapata causing so much trouble this game, so I don't know why Gasperini didn't play him against Real Madrid. Like, you need a goal. Okay, yeah, I know Muriel's your top scorer, but Zapata he'll cause trouble for any defensive backline. So to me, that was just stupid. But again, what do I know? I'm not the coach, but that's just my thoughts. At 10 a.m., we had 3 games that were going on. First one here is Udinese Lazio. Udinese were looking to complete the double over Lazio, but they did not do that. Lazio stealing the victory here thanks to a beautiful goal by Adam Marusic. So that's a crucial goal for Lazio as they really hope to get that fourth spot in Champions League. It will be a very difficult task for them, but they got a crucial victory to help them. Next 10 a.m. game is Sampdoria Torino, where Ranieri's men finally got a victory after 5 games without one. They went on to win thanks to an Antonio Candreva goal after well-worked play by Augello Quagliarella, and then capped off by Candreva. Now, the last 10 a.m. game was probably the shock and upset of the weekend. Filippo Inzaghi's Benevento stealing the victory at the Allianz Stadium against his former teammate Andrea Pirlo and his Juventus. Adolfo Gajic getting the winning goal here, and it does really help Benevento in their objective of staying away from the relegation and staying in Serie A. Well, this really puts a dent on Juve's Scudetto chances. We will talk about that more very shortly. We'll move on to the 1 p.m. game, which was Fiorentina hosting Milan. Now, Milan were in a bit of a poor run, but with this win, they managed to claw back and to get the victory thanks to Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Fiorentina didn't make him work for it though, as this was Milan's first comeback victory of the season. They have come back various times throughout this year, but that was coming back to get the draw. This is their first victory from a comeback this season. So a big win for Pioli's men. And then the last game of the day, of the weekend, at 3:45 was Roma Napoli. Napoli went on to get the victory and pull the double over Roma thanks to a Dries Mertens brace. And again, that continues Roma's woeful spell against top 6 sides this season. They still have not been able to win. We will talk about them as well. So anyways, there was all the results for round 28. Were there any other surprises for you, or was the Benevento one the only big one that you felt? What did you guys think of this weekend's results? We did have a lot of comebacks, of course, this weekend. What did you guys think of them? Be sure to comment below and let us know. So anyways, we're going to get right to the main topic of interest here, and that is Juventus Benevento. So first off, too, Benevento have not won since the beginning of January. So they've been without a win for 11 games, and this win here was very crucial for them, especially since other teams dropped points at the bottom. So it was very crucial for them to get the victory here, and this is what they did. And they played compact football here. You know, they didn't really give Juve a lot. Yes, they did have their chances, but they tried to restrict them as much as they could. Did not want to go through the middle. A lot of it came out through the sides. But once again, it's a Juventus error that led to the goal. Arthur, don't know what you're thinking, but even as a child, you learn never play the ball across the face of goal. And that's exactly what he did. Gajic stole it before it got to Danilo, and he managed to brush him off to blast it past Szczesny. And you could see it in this phase. It was important. This is probably one of the biggest goals he will ever score against a side like Juventus. But Juve just couldn't get anything going. Montipo coming up big when he did. Now, there was also an incident shortly after Juventus had scored, Benevento had scored their goal. There was a call for a penalty on Federico Chiesa. Actually, there's two incidents in this game. So we'll track back a bit to the first half, where Montipo in the first half came out sliding to get the ball, but ended up over sliding and came out of his box. And I know the Juve players wanted a red card because he did handle the ball outside the box, but from the initial rules and from what the ref did, he did make the right call in doing a free kick outside the box and did not punish Montipo at all, because Montipo did start with the ball inside the box and the momentum carried him outside. So it's not like he fully handled the ball outside, like he just came out running and he went and hit the ball with his hands. No, he had the ball inside the box and just happened to come outside. So the ref did what was correct, did not book him, as it was again unintentional, as he did have the ball originally in his hands, and well, he still had it anyways, but he did have it and then just slid out. So right call there from the referee. And then so the second one was the penalty claim. So what happened, it was Chiesa against Foulon, and Chiesa tried to beat his man. Foulon goes to ground, I guess, just from a light shove from Chiesa. I know people are saying it touched his hand, but it's not like those where players go down and they try grabbing it. Foulon knew he was in his box and even tried to move his hand away to not touch it as he went down. And then Chiesa goes and falls over him, and because of how Chiesa is known as a diver, really, like, it's just really bad. The referee did not see it, and you can tell he kind of went down a little bit. He did go down a little bit easy, but the same thing is too is that as Fulon's on the ground, Chiesa ran into him. It's not like he went around or jumped over. He just fully ran into him, and the ref kind of made I feel the ref made the right call, because it's not like he got caught, whatever. He easily could have avoided that situation and could have played the ball, but instead the player goes to the ground and he's still running into the player on the ground. And the way he went down, it was just too over exaggerated. It was too easy for the ref to make the decision there and saying it was no penalty. And I know a lot of people were complaining. Well, a lot of the players, Pirlo even got booked for complaining too much about that. But what do you expect when you're running into a player on the ground? You expect not to fall? Like, what's the ref thinking? You're running into him. You could have avoided that. I'm not calling penalty because Chiesa was always looking for the foul, and even the commentators, from the game, from when I was watching the game, were even saying he was looking for the foul. He ran into him. He could have easily been avoided, and if he avoided that, Juve would have had another scoring opportunity. So that's one thing. Now, Chiesa, I've always said, too, Chiesa is a big diver, but this year with Juve, he's really played exceptionally well. This has been a great year for him at Juve, but the one thing he has to be working on is his diving, and because of his reputation as well, preceding him at Fiorentina, a lot of referees won't give him the benefit of a doubt, because he's always been known to go down far too easily. So that's one thing now that referees will take into the fact, but I don't think it was a penalty. But Juve did have a few chances with Ronaldo. A lot of even a couple chances where Montipil did make the save, and there was a great rebound to score. But Morata and Danilo both putting it over the bar. They should have finished that. But this is what happens when Juve don't have a great midfielder to really help them in. McKennie has had a good year, but he's not a creative type of midfielder. He's just a box to box midfielder, winning the ball when he needs to be, getting in the right positions in the opposing box. So, and I do feel like, as much as Ronaldo's a good player, that money and salary could be used towards other players, and it could have been really used to really strengthen the Juventus team. And Pirlo was really even trying to get to 4 consecutive victories for the first time this season, but it did not happen. So they really have to bounce back in their next game, because they do have a couple of tough fixtures coming up. And now that they're not in um, Europe anymore after the elimination from Porto, they really have to make sure they try and bounce back and try to capitalize, not lose to teams that haven't won it in 11 games. So, and Benevento are sitting in 16th right now. So they like I just don't have any words for this, really. Uh, but anyways, they get nothing. Benevento, well deserved victory for them, and it really lifts Inzaghi's men, hoping they can put in some positive results going forward now and to ensure their safety. Now we'll talk about, I can quickly mention Milan quickly. Again, their first comeback victory. Ibrahimovic finally gets back to a goal scoring route. He is also the oldest player to reach 15 goals in a Serie A season, is also the first player to have 15 goals in his first 15 games of the season. Again, he is the oldest player, like I said, at 39 years old. And Milan also are the team that hit the most posts this season at 18, so they are very unlucky. There was maybe a couple of incidents in this game as well, with Ibrahimovic's first goal. It seemed like he did push Petsea a little bit. It could have been called back, or even a penalty that they looked very soft from one image. It did seem like Diaz was grabbing Ribery, but Diaz let go and then Ribery fell down. But there was another image. If you wind back a little bit, there was some contact on the back of his legs, and that's why the contact was like there was contact. But if you're going down so late after that, I don't think the ref would give the penalty, especially if you're if you're hit, you'd go down kind of right away, not like wait a couple steps then fall. But I don't know if it's because of Diaz holding him before, um, but Milan did show character in that and managed to get the comeback win, goals from Diaz, and then Çalhanoğlu securing the victory for them. Um, we'll even talk about just a quick mention with Lazio, who do get an important victory and do get within their city rivals, and are putting on pressure now, as they can, especially with a game back, they can really put that pressure on and get closer to that fourth spot. It's again a difficult ask for them, but they did get an important victory this weekend and do want to get closer to going into Champions League once again. Now, with the last game that I will talk about was, of course, the last game of the weekend, and that was Roma-Napoli. And so, once again, Roma do not win against a top 6 side. So these were the results so far. So let's break it to you. I guess against Inter, they've only played the one game so far and drew 2-2. Against Milan, they have one draw and one loss. Against Juve, one draw, one loss. Against Atalanta, a loss. Against Napoli, they have 2 losses, and against Lazio, the 1 loss. So that means they only picked up 3 points. 3 points out of all those games. So with Milan, they played twice. Juve played twice. Napoli played twice. So that's what? Too much math for me right now, but still. Anyways, 3 points. out of a possible whatever. I guess maybe I should have written that down anyways. But you guys get what I'm saying. Like these, as long as Roma are getting the victories against the bottom sides, it should be okay. But the wins against the top six sides are especially crucial because again, if you finish tied points, then the other team will have the advantage of knowing where to finish. Like, if you're someone fighting for that fourth spot and you're tied points while you're sitting in fifth, you're finishing in fifth and not going to Champions League. That's how crucial it is. Or even with Europa League, you could be tied points for sixth, right? But end up finishing seventh and having to go through those playoffs and have the risk of being eliminated. So now these points are really crucial. Now, and especially with those losses, especially we'll say against Atalanta and Lazio, they're heavy losses, 4-1 and 3-0. So with Roma, they really have to, against Atalanta, they would have to win 3-0 themselves. Against Lazio, they would have to win 4-0. So I don't think like a 3-0 victory is a little more possible than the 4-0 over Lazio. That would really take um not some luck, but really a great play, some great football to get those victories, and especially against those two sides. As much as Lazio has been struggling, um, they still managed to be competitive at some point. So I don't think Roma will come away with that huge victory, but those wins are important again in where you want to finish. So, and it's even Fonseca said they don't seem to have the mentality in playing against these top sides. Yes, they managed to get the draw. They managed to get a point away, but you don't want to always constantly take points away. You want the full 3 points. If you want to challenge for something, you need to be able to beat everyone. Okay, once in a while you'll get a draw, but it's either drawing or losing for Roma right now, and that's not really beneficial for them, especially where they want to finish off. And they've really, at one point, they're sitting third, and now because of those drop points too, especially, they've really dropped down in the standings. So not looking good for them. And now with Napoli too, that was a huge victory, and they have that now. They have 4 wins in their last 5 games, with the draw being the other. So they have really picked up in recent games. They still have that game back against uh, Juve, which could really help. If they win that, they can easily pass Juventus and be in contention once again for Champions League. So that is crucial for Gattuso's men to get the victory and be able to uh, bounce back in Serie A. The huge momentum. Mertens, who was on a poor goal scoring drought, managed to get a brace and get back to goal scoring form. His first goal, lovely free kick. With the free kick, Napoli did set up another wall and then quickly dispersed. And it did kind of block Paulo Lopez's visions because I guess he didn't know where the ball was. But it's a smart move because they weren't directly in front of the keeper, so it was a genuine legal goal, we'll say, in some sense. But Paulo Lopez definitely should have done better, but he did expect the ball to be put over the wall rather than to his near side. But he should have positioned himself a little bit better, and he could have maybe saved that. He didn't nearly save the second goal that Napoli scored, as he did hit it, but it was at a difficult angle, and he kind of helped it go into the net. But Mertens managed to get his goal there. Roma picked it up in the second half a little bit, but it was again one of those days where now they couldn't score, and it's back-to-back defeats for them after losing out to Parma. But you can still probably see the fatigue in them, as they did play on Thursday too against Shakhtar Donetsk, and they're also the only team remaining in Europe. So that's the only thing is now, do they focus on trying to get Champions League through Europa League, or trying to get what they can going in Serie A? It's a difficult ask, and especially being the only team left in Europe, they'll be the only ones with midweek matches, and especially on Thursday where you're only going to have 2 day break, and it's not like you can really play on Monday. You could play on Monday, but then have to play again on Thursday. Your players are definitely going to be fatigued, and that will definitely show in Serie A, and it doesn't help when you have a lot of players missing as well through injury. But there is a lot for Roma to do going forward. Again, credit to Napoli for getting the victory here and managing to get the 3 points, put one over on Roma, and put them more in a difficult position. So that's what I have to talk about. Some of the games there. If you want me to talk about anything else, write it down in the comment sections. Did you agree with some of the points I made regarding Milan, Juve, Napoli, Roma? What did you guys think? Be sure to comment below and let me know. We will move on to the standings now and how things shaped up after an exciting weekend of Serie A. Starting with the bottom, so we had all four teams really fighting for relegation lose this past weekend, and that really helped Spezia and Benevento, especially that they nabbed victories this past weekend. So starting with Crotone, who with that win would have put them in a good position, especially that Parma lost, but they let it slip against Bologna. They sit still at the bottom with 15 points. Parma, after a good win against Roma, couldn't hold on to the victory. As I said, they sit at 19 points. Cagliari just couldn't get that point and go level with Torino. They sit at 22, and Torino sitting at 23 points. So it's still very much up to play for, but I do feel Crotone will definitely be the first team, the bottom team that will be returning to Serie B, but between Torino, Cagliari, and Parma, like only 4 points separates those three sides. It will be very close, but it depends on if the other teams, because Spezia, Benevento, and Fiorentina are all at 29 points, so they are 7 points away. That's still a big gap, and especially with those wins against Cagliari and Juventus for Spezia and Benevento, respectively, it does give them a good advantage going into it because they do have a good gap if they do drop points in the following rounds. But Torino, again, have a game to make up as well, so that would be crucial. If they get that victory against Lazio, then it does really put more pressure on Cagliari and Parma to get more points, because then Torino wouldn't have to worry too much about being the other team for relegation, but was an important. It will be an important game for them, and then Genoa, who picked up 3 points to move away and onto 31 points, so it does give them more breathing room and don't have to worry too much about being closer to relegation. So it's a big win for Ballardini's men, who finally find a win after so long. As we move up into the standings, Sassuolo and Verona dropping points, so it does look like that seventh spot will be more towards Roma, Napoli, Lazio, maybe Atalanta, because it's still all kind of close over there. It definitely will be tough to see who gets it, unless Sassuolo and Verona start picking up points all of a sudden, but Sassuolo didn't even play. I almost forgot. I was looking at something else here, but from their last game beforehand, um, from the midweek match actually. But Sassuolo did not even play, so they have a chance to pick up points and put some pressure onto Lazio. But Lazio also have their game in hand. But anyways, Sassuolo and Verona are at 38. Verona at 38 and Sassuolo at 39. They're 10 and 11 points away from Lazio, who sit at 49, so it is quite a distance away between the two sides. So I don't feel that Sassuolo and Verona will be getting into Europe this year. It could be one, unless the other teams really start dropping points and they really start picking it up. But I don't think they would be nabbing the 7th spot away. Roma sit in 6th spot, so quite a huge drop for them after sitting in 3rd for so long. They sit 6th at 50 points. Napoli are 5th now with 53, and again with a game in hand as well, because a win would really push them up past Juve and Atalanta, who sit at 55 points, and Juve again still have their game in hand as well, so that does come into play. Milan sitting second with 59, and then Inter at 65, again with a game in hand against Sassuolo. So Milan managed to close the gap a bit. They're at 6 points now behind Inter, but again, Inter can always win their match and go 9 points once again. Juve, with their game in hand, can go a point behind Milan if they do beat Napoli. at the Allianz Stadium. So, but only one thing is Milan managed to get the victory and give themselves some distance between them and Juve, because this way, if Juve did win against Benevento and then do win against Napoli, Juve would be going second. So it was crucial for Milan to take advantage of that defeat and keep pushing forward ahead of Juventus. Atalanta again got the victory and managed to leapfrog and go ahead. So that was crucial for them as they want to again continue on their Champions League ways going forward. So what do you guys think of the standings? Will Inter pull ahead and or continue to pull ahead and claim the Serie A title, or will Milan find a way to catch up to them? Because it would be very difficult if Inter do drop points, but Milan really have to go on a winning run. Are Juve still considered in the Scudetto chances? It's very difficult as they are 10 points behind Inter and can go a potential 13. So it is quite a lot if it all happens. But again, Juve still have their game in hand. Do you really think who will finish in that fourth spot? Because it is still very close, because only 6 points separates Atalanta, well, even Juve, but Atalanta from Lazio. So it is all very close to play for that last Champions League spot. Who do you think will get it? And who do you think will finish in the bottom three? Will Torino get in there, or will Cagliari and Parma remain the other two sides that will potentially get relegated? Be sure to comment below and let me know. So we'll talk about the fixtures quickly that are coming up for the next round in Serie A. But actually, let's talk about the international break, as we said before, because again, the Italy games take place before the next Serie A fixtures. I will quickly just mention them. So we have 3 games, like I said, and it's not a bad group for Italy as well. So it's very important that they do get onto a good winning start for their, for the for the World Cup qualifiers. So let me see here. So in their group, they do have Northern Ireland, Bulgaria, Lithuania, Turkey. No, sorry, I'm looking at their let me go again. Northern Ireland, Bulgaria, Lithuania, and and Switzerland. Yes. So those teams, they do have. So not a bad group entirely. Their next 3 games, so they have coming up on Thursday, March 25th at 3:45, they are host to Northern Ireland. Then they have 2 away games. The next one's on Sunday, March 28th at 2:45 against Bulgaria, and then another away game at 2:45 Wednesday, March 31st. Sorry, 2:45 once again against Lithuania. So if Italy can get on to a good winning start, they have shown they went perfect through their qualifying group. So they hope to repeat it in their World Cup qualifiers for next year's Qatar World Cup. They really do hope they can get onto winning start, continue their run. They do have a lot of new faces as well. Toloi getting the call-up after getting his nationality. So it'll be interesting to see who Roberto Mancini will play in these Italy games, and he knows they need to get on to a good start to continue and put pressure on the other teams. And this way too can get first spot and qualify easily for the World Cup. So what do you guys think of the groups for Italy? Do they probably have a good chance, but what do you guys think of especially these teams? Because it's not like they're easy, but it's not like it would be a very tough challenge. So be sure to share your thoughts about Italy's Italy's upcoming games, and we'll move on to round 29 of Serie A. Now, these games will all take place on Saturday because the games coming back are on Easter weekend. So no games on Good Friday and no games on Easter Sunday. So again, they will all be played on the Saturday, with the time going back to normal as it changes in Italy. So starting off Saturday, April 3rd at 6:30, we have Milan Sampdoria. Now, Milan have struggled at home as of late. Losing to Napoli, drawing to Udinese. They lost to Manchester United at home, so they would really hope to keep a clean sheet and get back to winning ways. Um, at the San Siro, because that's where they want to get most of their points. And if they can start off the day well, and that means they put pressure on Inter, on Juve, Atalanta too. For them to get their victory. So very huge games coming up. This is a huge game for Napoli. Or sorry, from Napoli. I'm looking ahead to all the other games here, but for Milan to get the victory, and then for Sampdoria, they're comfortably in 10th spot. Yes, they were without a win in their last five after finally getting it against Torino this weekend. But Sampdoria don't really have much to play for yet. They can put pressure, but they're in a respectable position right now, kind of what Ranieri was hoping for this season. At 9 a.m., we have several games coming up here. I think it's 7. But anyways, we have Atalanta Udinese, Benevento Parma, Cagliari Verona, Genoa, Fiorentina, Lazio, Spezia, Napoli, Crotone, and Sassuolo, Roma. So we do have some interesting fixtures here. One of them being Benevento, Parma. So two teams closer to the bottom. And after Benevento's win against Juve, they hope to carry on against Parma, who just, yes, have their one win in 18 matches or 19 matches, I guess. But they want to carry that momentum and put even more distance between them and the relegation zone. Same with Cagliari Verona. Verona looking for their first win in 3 matches and hope to do it against the lowly Cagliari. But Cagliari have looked better as of late after, even though they do have back-to-back defeats, they have looked good under Semplici. And will hope to get something out of this match. Genoa Fiorentina, not a bad game here in the sense, but Fiorentina will hope to get a victory with some consistency again, and just kind of they would leapfrog Genoa and just pull away from that relegation zone. Napoli Crotone will definitely just try to play for what they can and hope to get a result, because that would also put pressure on Parma, Cagliari, and Torino as well. Very important result, but Napoli are in good form and will hope to carry it off and put more pressure again on the Roma, Lazio, Atalanta, Juve. Just they want to pick up the points and currently ride their good form and take advantage of a poor form Crotone. Sassuolo Roma should be an interesting game. Roma have back-to-back defeats and will look to pick it up against the Sassuolo side, who have looked up and down as of late. De Zerbi can't really get any consistency out of his men right now, and honestly, after such a good start to the season, the form has really dropped for the Nero Verdi, and he would definitely hope to pick it up. And again, he was looking to get some type of European qualification this year, but that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. But they will hope to test Roma, get a result, and maybe put some of their difficulties behind them and put Roma on some pressure and hand them their 3rd straight defeat. At 12 p.m., we have the Derby della Mole. Last time around, Juve did take the victory late on in the match, so Torino will hope to come and maybe take the victory away from Juventus this time and potentially pull them away from the relegation zone. So they will be watching closely on how the Parma and Cagliari matches go, especially even the Benevento, considering they are 6 points behind Benevento. So depending on how they do as well, it could potentially be 9 points. So a lot to look for Torino, and they need this win. They have 3 losses in their last 4 games, so they would really hope to get something out of this. And especially Juve have been looking a little fragile as of late, so they want to definitely take advantage. Juve perhaps want to turn their fortunes around and hopefully get that win, because they do want to try and get that Scudetto, but it would be very difficult, like I said, because again, they still have to leapfrog Milan, which it's possible depending on how the games go, but to catch up to Inter, like I said, right now they're 10 points behind. It could go potential to a 13, but it also depends on how the Juve Napoli go, because Juve, after the Torino game, they do play host to Napoli in that midweek game. So tough games for Juventus and Pirlo. So they really have to be up to their top form to get anything out of these matches. And now to end off the round 29, we have Bologna, Inter, Inter traveling to uh, the Dallara to really get something out of this and put even more pressure on Milan, Juve to pull ahead, widen the gap as much as they can. They are in a good run of form too. They have not looked back since their defeat to Sampdoria a few weeks ago. So they just want to continue their momentum and look forward. Mihailovic will probably hope to keep his former side at bay. Bologna do have two consecutive wins, so they would hope to maybe get a third against a strong Inter side. Bologna on their day could cause any side some problems, so Mihailovic will really try to contain his former side and really give them trouble. But Conte said we'll have a lot of their players back from COVID, like I said, so it was just the timing that worked out too for his side. Very fortunate, to be honest. It's even like when Ibra had a COVID and just made it back for the Derby. So, very, very important for two sides to really show off and get onto a good run of form. While again, Inter just want to put pressure, continue their good run of form, and make it difficult for the teams under them. Anyways, which games are you guys looking forward to in the upcoming round of Serie A? And don't forget to let me know how you guys think Italy will do in their upcoming World Cup qualifiers. Be sure to let me know what games you guys are looking forward to and what games you were excited about this time out for round 28. So again, we do have to wait a couple weeks for some Serie A action. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Calcio_Bros, for any match day updates, team news, and just thoughts in general. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe to our channel for more Calcio content and click the bell to receive notifications on all our latest videos. I hope to hear from you guys soon. Ciao!